I've been thinking about the moon today and how the moon that's currently in the sky affects our moods because I've been having shifting moods this past week. But the moon is the fastest moving planet. In astronomy, it actually makes a cycle in 28 days, and it's the same thing with astrology. About 28 days, the moon goes around our birth chart, and so it's hitting each of our 12 houses in about a month, and it's also hitting each of the 12 signs. So depending on where the moon is transiting in your chart, it's going to be affecting that area of life. It's going to be giving you a mood in that area of your life. I was actually thinking of a time when last month during the holidays, I had a lunch date set up with my dad and my son, and the moon was transiting my third house. It had just entered my third house in Sagittarius. And so when you think of the third house is the house of communication, but it's also the house of short trips. Being in Sagittarius in my chart, Sagittarius is the sign of the explorer. Sagittariuses love to be spontaneous. They like to go with the flow and just kind of live life and kind of see what possibilities there are. Sagittariuses aren't the ones to plan things out. They really do like to see where the road takes them. So when we went to go meet my dad and have lunch with him, we had a great lunch. After lunch, we were kind of planning to go our separate ways, but we decided to go for a walk. It was great because we were like trekking on these like hills, and we were discovering the city and just having a good time in our company, and it was a beautiful day. So all of us were in good spirits, and Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is the planet of good spirits, it gives that jovial vibe. And so we went our separate ways, and it was getting a little bit late, but my son and I were like, why don't we just keep going? Let's keep walking. So we're walking, and usually after a while, my son starts complaining. But he was good. He was in good spirits. I was in good spirits, and we're just enjoying, just exploring. Nothing could mess up our mood. And we find this playground, and my son is playing at the playground, having a great time. I meet some travelers, and we're over here like joking, talking about travel. Odd enough, the moon is in Sagittarius, and I'm over here with these travelers talking about travel. We go, we find some ice cream, and we're like, okay, maybe it's time to go home. It's getting dark. But then we see the cable car. My son and I were like, let's go on the cable car. So we go, and it was perfect. There was nobody in line. We go to the cable car. The place where people like to sit on cable cars is usually on the front, where there's a bench and you could really look outside and get the view of everything. But it was all taken up. And so we get on, but these strangers that were sitting there, they made room for the both of us, and they were super friendly. And, they're like, oh, is this his first time going a cable car? Let me take a picture. And so they're over here taking pictures. We're laughing and joking. And Sagittarius energy is all about these like spontaneous interactions, and Sagittariuses are so friendly, and they were friendly with us. We were friendly with them. We were all in a happy mood. It was just funny how everything worked out. When you think of Sagittarius, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is also the planet of luck. It was just that kind of day. Nothing went wrong that day. It was so funny. When we were coming back, the driver was nice enough to give us a free ride. He was just in such a good mood, and it was a vibe. It was definitely a mood. It was a Sagittarius mood. Lucky, good spirits, exploring the city. My son felt like a little traveler. I felt great. It was just, there was something so alive about the mood. But that's just like one example of how you can use the transiting moon in astrology to kind of like affect your mood or plan something. Say you're planning to do something with the house, you want to clean up, you want to organize, you want to cook something really good, and the moon is transiting your fourth house, the house of home. That's a great time to do that. Or say that you want to focus on work or your routines or your health. If the transiting moon is in your sixth house, you'll be in the mood to kind of focus on the routines and being healthier. If you want to focus on communities and connecting with groups of friends or like-minded people, when the moon is transiting your 11th house, it's a great time to kind of connect with people that think like you, people that have the same type of goals as you. So those are just a few examples of how you could use the moon to really plan out your life. I mean, you don't have to. I don't plan out my life. I like to go with the flow for the most part, but If I could plan something out and kind of like work with the moon and work with the energy, I'll do it. If you keep track of the moon and see what sign it's in, there's plenty of apps out there so you can see when it's going to be in a certain house. If you're going through an issue and you're like, why am I feeling so emotional and down? Look to where the moon is in your chart. Then it'll give you a little bit more self awareness like, okay, this is why I'm feeling that way. And maybe I need to think about this area of life more and maybe how to improve it. If something's bringing you down, it means that you have to improve something, most likely. Or just sit with it and just let it go. Sometimes you can't fix something and you just have to let it be. You have to let it flow. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about the transiting moon because it's in my mind. But peace and self-love.